Hello, everybody, and welcome into just a positively disgusting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name is Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing the Fresh movie, because it's new, called Fresh, starring my man, Sebastian Stan, and I guess some other people as well. We are here tonight to discuss that movie. Joining me first up from Manhattan, New York City, the Stan, I was trying to come up with a portmanteau. The Stan doppelganger himself, Mr. John Schnars.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Eric. He looks so much like you in this movie. It's insane.
I mean, I don't know.
I would have gone with Eric Sebastian Stan.
Doppelstanger. Next up on the show from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
From Richmond, Virginia, it's Caitlin from Richmond, Virginia.
That's me. Hi.
And last up tonight, the editor-in-chief, that's the EIC of bloodygoodhorror.com. Please welcome Mr. John Shelton.
What's up, y'all?
Did you know that was your title, John?
No. I need to go update my business cards.
It's been bequeathed. It's been bequeathed to you.
Eric, I feel like that's the first time you haven't said homeless professor in front of John Shelton's
That's true.
name.
He's
in the intros.
moving on up in the world.
Times are changing.
Not having a home to being the editor-in-chief. It's
a big swing.
It's, kind of a lateral move.
Yeah. Congratulations. John, I have a secret. Well,
Which one? You have to be specific.
We should say spoiler alert. We should say spoiler alert first of all for Fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced this movie was made by PETA because I'm absolutely horrified by food now, and literally was trying to eat dinner, and like it was the least pleasurable dinner I've had
it's not good
in quite some time.
I was
Honestly,
craving pancetta.
Yeah, like
I
I
was craving some meatballs. The meatballs.
some pate.
Just thinking about it now is
I
like,
don't not pate a person anyway, but
just thinking about it now is turning my stomach. I can't.
it's. Well, we can talk later about which is the grossest because I have there's like one that was the grossest by like a mile in my mind.
Oh, interesting. Well, okay, that's a good question to pose to everyone. In the meantime, let's take a quick break and review Fresh.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big breaking TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
Schnars, with that hair, I think you're probably days away from your big break in TV. Just waiting for somebody to snatch you up on the street.
I've been saying for a while, if Sebastian Stan needs a body double, like I'm available. So
It's more than I needed to know, bud.
yeah.
No, I could know more. It's okay. John, please bring us the word of the day. There's a whole extended section in this movie where we like really luxuriate on Sebastian Stan's like muscles and his body, and
There's some torso in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
he's quite a fit gentleman, John.
Well,
How do you think
we'll
you
get
compare?
into it. I'm on the train now. Like before, I was like, he's fine. Like whatever. He kind of. I hadn't seen him in something where I was like, I like got it. He's really good. Like
Yeah. John, if you
hopefully
had
he's on the up and up.
John, if you made love to Sebastian Stan, would it count as masturbating?
Oh,
There's a thought.
I hadn't considered that.
There's
one,
a thought
actually, but-
thought question for listeners to
Yeah.
think about tonight.
Okay.
John, please bring us the word of the day.
Wow, the double, the rare double. The word of the day today, Eric, is carpaccio. That's CARPACCIO. Carpaccio. It's an Italian hors d'oeuvre consisting of thin slices of raw beef or fish served with a sauce.
Cool.
That's carpaccio. Very interesting definition. I mean, etymology here, and I'm reading from the Google define, like this sort of Google dictionary thing. Not there's probably more on the Wikipedia. So it says that in the English, this comes from an Italian painter, I presume, Vittore Carpaccio, because I guess in his art, his use of red pigments resembled raw meat. And so that's where the English got the word Carpaccio. Maybe it wasn't originally called that in Italian. It had a different name. So yeah.
Because he had red paint.
Presumably, yeah. It says it was invented in 1950 by Giuseppe Cipriani from Harry's Bar in Venice. Again, that's from the Wikipedia. I don't know. Take that for what you will. Google seems to think the word existed in like 1900.
I think
that
there's
was
some
like the peak.
I feel like one of those scenes there was like dry aged meat.
Yeah. Well, that was what
or
sort of
cured,
made me think of it.
cured meat or something like that. Yeah.
What did you call it, John? Because I think what you called it was probably the more accurate definition of what that was.
Prosciutto.
Yeah,
Like a
Prosciutto.
like a
ham.
prosciutto,
the
Like a smoked ham.
prosciutto.
like a fine
Prosciutto.
prosciutto, John. Yeah. A little gabagool.
A little
Bippity
Serrano
boppity.
ham action, but Serrano Hugh man.
Hey, John Shelton, as our guest, please kick us off. What did you think of? I keep wanting to say flesh, but it's.
Do you want me to tell you about the movie first, or are we gonna get?
Oh my god!
You're all
yes.
over the map today. You're playing the stingers twice. I mean, it's very.
Hey John,
It's
why
a
don't-
Sebastian Stan episode. You knew
I
this
know.
was going to
He's
happen.
flush.
It's
ooh,
like,
I'm all at Twitter. John Schnars, please
hi, Pappy.
tell me about this movie.
I read one article about this movie, so I am excited to tell you about it. So this comes to us from a first-time director, Mimi Cave. She's someone who had been working in in Hollywood doing music videos and things. This is her first feature film, and it comes from the writer. Her name is Lauren Kahn. So Lauren Kahn, she's done a couple other screenplays. This is one of the first that's kind of gone all the way through to production. She also works or had worked, or I guess still works closely with Adam McKay. I think she was a co-writer on Don't Look Up. And so she's like done a bunch of stuff.
Producer on this. This was
exactly.
actually the second movie that he's produced in his new company after Don't Look Up.
Yeah,
So this is kind of the follow-up to that, which is kind of weird.
There you go. Yeah, he did. He produced this, and they basically took, apparently, according to this article I was reading, they took a long time finding Mimi Cave. They had the script, and they were just insistent on finding the right director. They wanted a female voice, and they found her, and we can talk about how it went. But it stars Daisy Edgar Jones, who I didn't recognize. She had a couple of other credits. Sebastian Stan, as we have discussed at length already. And then I would say the other major character is, so Daisy, her character's name is Noah. Noah's best friend is Molly. And that's the crew. Quick synopsis.
You gonna
Noah
just read down
is-
the IMDb on the cast, or what?
Well, what was Noah's? Did we ever get a job for her? She was an artist.
I didn't.
Is that
I
like
didn't
a
pick that
designer
up.
of some kind?
Yeah, we get like shots of her designing.
The important thing is that
they thought as
she's-
she works from home, it doesn't have a lot of people checking on her.
Yes.
Right, and she's into the online dating. That's how we are.
Yeah, so she's basically, she's a fairly I want to say like lonely, but she's definitely like a solo operator type. She has this really close friend, Molly. We know, because it becomes somewhat of an important plot point, that she doesn't have a lot of family. She's estranged from her mom. Her dad's passed away. So we see her doing online dating. We see her going. I would posit one of the like worst dates ever put on film. Like, I don't know, maybe there's been movies that have put worse dates on.
Dude,
but
you know what's interesting? Because you're not on Twitter, John. I see that was so familiar to me from a lot of posts I see go viral of people describing awful online dates and then also just posting chats from like dating apps. Like none of this seemed far fetched to me from like.
As
shit
the
that-
resident single, I can let you know when it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I haven't dated in a long time. I don't use dating apps or social media. It all like it whatever. I felt it was very realistic, or at least from as you say, what's kind of out there. But so she's doing that. It's not going great. She meets Sebastian Stan in the supermarket. He sort of like just casually bumps into her and then asks for a number, and she's having this like moment. I mean, she had not given up on dating, but it had very much kind of resigned herself to like hating dating, and she very much falls in love with him. And that turns out to go quite poorly. I mean, it's slight spoiler, but like we'll talk about this movie's paced or structured in a really interesting way, at least the beginning of it. And he basically abducts her, and it turns out that he harvests meat from young women and sells it to rich people who are cannibals or into cannibalism. And it's like a whole operation. Like he's got like logos and branding, and he's got a team, and there's like vacuum sealing. I don't know. I mean,
Oh my god, the vacuum
underwear.
sealing
Yeah,
scene.
it's a really elaborate thing. And so the rest of the film is really like Noah trying to survive. Like, can she survive this sort of grim fate? Yeah, I mean that's it. It is a I mean it's a black comedy. It's real black.
Extremely.
There are some like outright funny moments, but otherwise like it's just like pretty straight up grim for a lot of like. But yeah. So we can go from there.
Love it. Hey, John Shelton,
Now can I talk about
what
it?
did you think of this movie?
Oh boy. Yeah, it's good. I liked it. It reminded me a lot. It kind of feels like this is going to be like this year's Promising Young Woman, because it's very similar sort of topics. And also like I could kind of see this like crossing over to the non-horror audience a little bit, because even though it's real dark and like Schnarr said, real grim, it's literally about cannibalism, but it's like not really that gory. You don't actually see a whole lot. There's a lot of stuff that's implied, and there's a lot of like really cool
The
like
after
filmatism that they do.
the after the fact
Mhm.
stuff, I guess, is
Yeah.
pretty disgusting. But yeah, not a lot of like direct like.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of like surrealist kind of stuff where like you're seeing like kind of things that maybe she's imagining, or maybe it's you don't really know if it's if it's really what the truth is, or if it's just how she imagines things. But like yeah, a lot of the scenes that could in like a lot of cannibal movies would be like gross gut munching and everything like that. It's pretty subdued. You don't see it, but then you see him like doing like the Hannibal style like cooking, and like literally like shaving a little carpaccio off of a human thigh with a tattoo on it.
A shank, a lady.
Yeah, a shank, a lady shank.
Is that what the cannibals call it, Caitlin?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Caitlin,
I loved this. It's probably it's right now in my top 3 for the list, the running list so far.
March 8th. Mark it down.
The last time I said something like I love body horror, I feel like Schnars was like, "You love body horror?" But I'm gonna go ahead and make another statement. I love cannibal horror. I really
Wow.
do.
You
I,
do.
So
I knew that about
interesting.
you.
Yeah, it's funny. There's like a
Caitlin,
running
we
joke
have.
in my family. My cousin Olivia like has always loved cannibal movies. So the minute that this started, I texted her. I was like, "Hulu, baby, new cannibal movie
Wow.
dropped."
You guys
And
send
I-
like digital high fives to each other.
Oh yeah, big time. But I love this. I think it's really funny. It's disturbing. The pacing is really cool. Casey had talked about, I think it's like 30 minutes in, we get the title card, which is another movie. Empty Man did something similar last year. So we don't get that a whole lot, but when you do, it's kind of shocking in a really,
That's always
but I feel like
more,
it's done really well here.
Yes.
The cast is great. Sebastian Stan really did bring it. I don't know if he does look like Schnars. I can see it, but I can.
Get out.
For the record, I've never said
Yeah.
that. I just want that on the record.
Well, it's
It
funny 'cause
is
when I said,
it's uncanny. Like they're from the same family. They're related.
well, I texted you guys and I was like, I don't know if he looks like Schnars, you guys. In case he was like, wait till he puts on the scrubs. I was like, oh boy.
I didn't actually see that
There-
text. I'm glad. It would
There
have
was that
upset me.
scene where he had the surgical
The
hat
hat.
on,
Uh-huh.
and they did a close up that I thought that was pure Schnarch right there.
But yeah, I love this, and I'm single and I don't really date because it's not as bad as cannibalism that I have experienced yet. But that first date she goes on, where
It's always
he's like,
tough.
where he's like, I was just being nice. You're not even that hot. I didn't even really like you that much. Like the turn from, hey, would you want to meet up sometime, to
Yeah.
whatever, you're a fat bitch anyway. I don't even really care. You up? Like that turn, real fast and real accurate. So I appreciated what they showed in terms of how miserable
Oh, is that the one who
dating is.
texts? Is that the one who texts at the end? Is that what I'm?
Chad,
Yeah.
And,
that's.
Oh.
get
I
it.
don't know. I like the whole idea that she is a piece of meat, like throughout the movie, because
that's-
she's getting dick pics, she's getting you up texts, and
Yeah.
literally a piece of meat. But yeah, I love this. It's so good.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting things going on under the hood. Casey?
Yeah, I love this movie too. I came into it pretty blind. I'd heard everybody talking about it in the last drive-in as we were watching Curtains on Friday night. Went and checked out, read the plot description on Hulu, decided to throw it on, and so I knew what to expect coming into it, but then I kind of forgot about the cannibalism part that's in the plot drop as we're going through there. Then we hit that 30-minute mark, and that scene that plays throughout when that title card drops, it just blew my mind. It was a great setup. There's some drinks going on and stuff like that. We could get into it a little bit later as in the discussion, but the way they framed that and everything, and then popped it right there, just like, oh crap. And the movie literally switches gears right there, and it does it fairly expertly as far as the writing and directing goes too. It's like you could feel them drop it into like second gear, like here we go. And it checks out. And from there on out, it was bizarre. It was crazy. I thought Sebastian Stan was amazing. I thought that Gazy was her name, I believe, that played Noah. She was really good in this too. She really sold it, and it was just really good. There was elements of like other things going on, like with the secret dungeon and stuff like that. There's a lot of elements of different movies and stuff here, and it just plays together super well. And like Shelton was saying, I was impressed that they didn't do like disgusting gore with this, which would have been super easy, and
Can I ask a question?
10 years ago would have been standard.
What
right?
movie were you guys watching? Do you guys not count all that food shit as like disgusting gore? I found this movie revolting.
The food
I'm
is
talking
literally
about-
just food, though. Like,
Yeah.
No,
I'm
it's
talking
people.
about the movies that are like
It's
showing
I mean, you
it
you
off the
know
bone.
that it's human, but you know.
Yeah.
I just
No,
think
no,
that's
no,
a.
no,
I
no,
listen,
no.
I'm just saying that's a
Where we
real.
get her like eating her sister's finger. Like it's a little bit
Right.
different.
I'm saying that's a
Yeah.
real fine line to draw in the sand. That's all I'm saying.
There's
No, I
gut
actually-
munching.
There's no, there's no very little classical gore. There's not like blood spraying. I mean, there at the end,
Yeah.
there's like some blood spraying,
It's
but
not splattery per se.
But
but
even
like
those
all of the
dinner
surgery
scenes-
stuff. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean the dinner scenes, it's just him cooking. Like it could be any meat. You like literally
The
wouldn't.
scene
no,
in which
But
he
that's the other
pulls
thing that's
out.
great with this
The scene
movie.
in which he pulls out the leg. Yeah, I think it's the
Yeah.
first thing you see, and it's pretty identifiable as like a leg.
They
And
put his
he-
air guitar on it.
And he just starts
Yeah.
like butchering it. I don't know that I've ever been so disgusted by a scene in a movie. Like this movie
Yeah.
literally turned my stomach. It's unbelievable how sick it made me. And it must
Well,
just
but
be
you
like
find the right table. What I'm saying though is you find the right table at Horror Hound movie, and you're going to find the same movie, but they're going to show like all the blood and guts as he's taking the leg off and
but
butchering
the
it,
reason
too.
that the reason it's so effective is what John referred to as these sort of like avant-garde kind of, because like it's like sound effects and close-ups of meat and the butchering and like, oh my god, I'm like getting sick just talking
Well,
about it right now.
that's what I was going to add.
actually
in there.
crazy.
That was the other great part about this movie was like the Foley work. We don't talk about that much, but like
It's
that whole
crazy.
Foley work that is going on in those dinner scenes and the cooking and
Oh,
stuff.
God.
A+, it makes your skin crawl.
The chewing in particular, my
Yeah.
brother,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God,
This-
gotta watch the new cannibal movie. And he was like, I don't mind the cannibalism, but this chewing is fucking gross.
There's a lot of
disgusting.
close-ups on mouths eating. That's
Yeah.
that's probably the goriest thing in the movie is watching somebody just eat like noodles.
Cheniers, what did you think?
Yeah, I love this movie too. And I've like been thinking about it more. Like as I've processed it, I love it even more. It's just so well made. Like top to bottom, the script is amazing. The direction is so confident and assured. Like I was really surprised that this was, a first time out. Because I went in, I knew nothing. Like I literally, you all were kind of like, oh, people are talking about Fresh or something. And I was like, okay, cool. And it's funny because, and I sent it to you, like there was an article on the cover of the art section in the New York Times last weekend with this writer and the director, and like, it was the full page. And I even saw that it was about a horror movie, and I was like, I'll read this later. And so I like only like put it back. I only put it together after the fact. I was like, oh, they were talking about Fresh. So John, you mentioned like this movie's crossing over. Or could like I kind of hope it does. Like it is that good, and it's. I
And
mean,
it's
look,
got,
like
dude,
it's super
it has a
gross.
Marvel face in it. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I love
it's-
this being on Hulu too, because like I could just imagine somebody being like, oh, what is this? Turning it on, watching like 40 minutes of it and being like, okay, this is about, oh, it's hard out here for a lady dating nowadays. And then all of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this movie? Like, that's the perfect reaction.
we
That's
didn't
like,
mention.
I think that's very possible.
We didn't mention 30 minutes in title sequence.
Yeah. No,
Eric, we
Kate-
fully mentioned
or,
that.
yeah,
Damn it!
You're
No
fine,
one
it's called
mentioned it
come on.
ever.
no
the
one's
first
ever
time.
brought that up.
No
The,
one on the internet has said.
No,
it.
I mean it's like it's a really well put together film. It's very smart, right? Like I'm not dating, I don't date, but like it feels like it captures something, whether or not it's like super accurate. Who gives a fuck? Like it captures something
I'm
essential.
telling you, it is.
Well, Kaylin, I believe you. I'm not like I'm
Doesn't
not.
sound like you do.
No, I'm just saying like it.
It's
I
effective
felt like
regardless.
I came away
Yeah.
understand like they had a
It's effective even to
perspective.
someone who doesn't have the perspective on what the subject matter
Well, no,
is.
like the writer and the director had like a clear vision of what they wanted to convey the dating world is like right now, or what women's experience of dating is like. And like again, I get it. Like I'm like okay, you know, and the metaphor itself, like it's not like perfect throughout. It's not like, but like it's very well drawn.
Yeah.
The movie comp that I'll make, and I'll just like lay this down up top. You guys can tell me if you think it's you know an exaggeration, but like for me this is like Get Out. Like it was that level
Yeah.
of sort of black comedy and like hitting on like real world issues
Mhm.
through a horror lens. Like it's not. I mean, look, Jordan Peele's like operating at like one level. They're not that far away, and it's in that same vein. This should have been in theaters. Like
see
it's a
that.
little ridiculous that it's not in some ways.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100% too.
That's kind of wild, yeah.
I agree with everything that's been said. Show over. It is one of the best made things I think we've reviewed in a while, especially in the indie scene. It's like 2 hours, and it earns all of it, which is always for me like a breath of fresh air. It's a very kinetic film. When you talk, John, about the confidence with which it's made and directed, like it just has an energy to it, and a lot of that is owed to, I think, both of the lead performances, but in particular Sebastian Stan, because that role is like I don't know her name, the actress, the
Daisy something or
her
other.
character,
Daisy?
she's doing a lot of interesting
Edgar
work.
Jones.
She's doing a lot of interesting work to show this like really complicated emotional thing she's going through as his victim, but it's a little more understated. He is just hamming it the hell up. Like this character is on crank to 11 all the time. It's in a weird way almost like scarier than some other movies I've seen, because he's so totally flippant and out of it. Like he just has his own he has his own worldview of like what's okay and what isn't, and like he doesn't.
Well, it's Patrick Bateman. Like I felt like there was a
Yes,
that's what
couple
I
of
was gonna
scenes
say.
where
It's Patrick
he's
That
Bateman,
was
but-
really, I got a big Patrick Bateman vibe.
Patrick
Yeah.
Bateman,
Yeah.
but way more smooth and more charismatic, I think.
well,
he's
he's not a total sociopath. Like he understands other people's motives, just doesn't give a fuck.
He's got like a Ted
Yeah.
Bundy. He's got like a Ted Bundy vibe, and here's why: because he's so goddamn charming in the beginning, and like,
He's charming even still when
he-
he's being a fucking weirdo.
and he continues to be
Yeah.
right. It's
Like,
just
maybe
that
this guy's okay.
it's just that we know who he is, and that makes it creepier because he's still trying to turn on the same charm, and he even reminds her like, I'm still the same person that was on that date with you or whatever. But I think I
But I
texted
like you.
I texted you guys in the beginning. I was like, how is he so goddamn charming? Like what?
Well, there's also this brilliant thing where he's got a wife that we see later. We
Mhm.
never find out the story, but you can really infer a lot from, because you see at one point that she's missing a leg.
I gasped.
And-
I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, well, what's the story here? And you don't find out, but you can infer, and it also kind of like leads the other story where you're like, well, maybe Noah can, get in there, and maybe this is what she's doing. I don't know if she's trying to escape or if she's like, hey, you know what?
Well-
Whatever. I'll be a cannibal, and this guy's cute. He's very charming.
I think that's what he was doing. Like that, because this
Yeah.
is one of my
Yeah.
big questions. Like, what is his arc? Like, what are we supposed to like? What's the game he's playing? And a little bit of like, he
He's
might have just been like
having-
confused.
For me, it's like he's like got this beautiful wife who's in on his grift, and he's got these beautiful kids, and he's one of those dudes that's like, you know what I could use in my life of crime and like deceit and disgust? A little spice. Like I could use like a little affair here. Like, he finds someone. I guess, we assume that his wife, I mean, she's game. She's in on this, whole
Yeah.
thing. And now he feels like, oh, my new like protege apprentice, my new hot one.
yeah, I mean, it reminded
No, I
me
was gonna
of
say it's gonna be his new wife. If
it reminded me of
for sure.
Poughkeepsie tapes, because if you remember that movie, like there's a real strong thread about Stockholm syndrome and the way that like when someone is this broken down psychologically, like if you remember the end of that movie, she gets rescued and then I think she goes back at the end of the Poughkeepsie tapes, right? And like
Yeah.
so that's why it's interesting leaving the history of that wife character so vague, because you could go the route of like, oh, maybe she was a willing participant, or like she was broken. She seemed pretty broken. I mean, the way that she's portrayed in the movie, like, but broken to the point where she is now like just fully in on it.
I think it's so important though, that piece of dialogue we get at the end when Molly attacks her and she's like, women like you are part of the problem,
yeah,
and then beats her to
Yeah.
death.
and I
Like,
think that's a thread
so
that
good. It's
that-
so important to have that.
it's a thread that runs through the movie, and it also there's another moment where the main character is kind of saying that she blames herself, and one of the other women is she says something really
Yeah, yeah.
pointed that's basically like, it's never our fault, it's their fault, like they're the ones who are doing
Well,
these things.
because she's saying
Yeah.
that like as she like is being like held captive in a basement, like it truly was like that was a really funny moment, and yeah, Eric, like I mean, it was a really important piece of dialogue. I agree, but yeah, it's the most extreme victimization, and still being like, maybe I did something wrong. I don't know.
I mean, I can feel like, oh,
It's
God,
dark.
what an idiot. I came on this vacation with this guy who I don't even know, doesn't even have an Instagram, can't find him. Like,
But like, I don't know. Like, it's Caitlin, I feel like you're already making excuses for their victim blame. Like, she should be allowed to love people. Like,
Classic
she,
Caitlin, you know what I mean?
no, but like I don't know. Like, women should be allowed to like fall in love without being
course, of
threatened
course
of
they should.
violence. Like,
Bold
without,
That's
like,
the
stance,
point, but at
John.
the same time, like, there's still some of that in the sense that, like, I don't know, you were raised to, like, walk to your car with your key between your fingers. Like, it's that thing,
Yeah.
like, we all know that this is fucked up, but I love the way it's played because I can see myself being like, oh, God damn it. Like, of course, too good to be true.
No, I think they're addressing an extremely common like emotional response to being victimized in all people, and especially women in these types of scenarios. So I think it was,
What?
and the movie makes a very pointed point of like having that line be in there, and in a movie that there's not a lot of that stuff injected in, like it's very clearly written, like, and it's given a moment, you know what I mean? So it feels like it has
Yeah.
weight in the script.
Well,
Well,
it's
in
also
this day
about
and age,
Noah's.
In this
Go
day
ahead.
and age, that's got to be a very real fear for ladies going on using dating apps and stuff too. Especially when you find somebody you think it's nice, you've got to have that thought in the back of your head, like,
Yeah.
oh God, what if they're crazy?
She did
It's
do a
a
that's
smart.
scary place out
She
there.
did
now.
do a smart thing by sharing her location with her friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was.
Molly knew.
I thought
Molly
it was
was up.
so
And
Molly
interesting.
was on it.
I thought it was so interesting at the end when the bartender showed up and then was like, "Oh hell!" Like realized something was happening. Was like, "Oh hell no!" and drove away.
Yeah, not a hero. Didn't-
No,
didn't
well,
hear
that
it.
but not a hero, and that's almost like that seems really intentional too, like an interesting subversion of that sort of trope of the character sort of sweeping in last.
Well, because they
minute.
do. They set him up like he's gonna be the
Yeah.
kind of. Not. It's not a
Because
dead
at the
sex
end of
magnet,
the
but, like,
day-
that's the solution. and
But at the
it's
end of the
not.
day, too, like I feel like he is at least partially in it because he thinks he's gonna get like a booty call back or something like that. You know what I mean? Because she's
sure,
sort of
yeah.
like
I
flirting
like
with
his
him.
rationalization where he's like, no, this has to be the wrong place. I probably turned around somewhere. It was, I mean, but I really like that it's, I don't know, none of it feels ham-fisted or silly though, because all of that tracks. Like I have friends that I'm like, share your location with me on the state so that I can know that you're not
Mhm.
dead, or that I at least know where your phone is, I guess. But you know, I like that it's not
I
sort
want
of
to.
like,
I
oh,
want to be
and
able to
he,
find
like...
your body.
but it's just like it all felt natural. None of it felt like. This sounds weird to say, but none of it felt silly.
Yeah.
I
Well, I mean,
do
that's
think-
pretty standard. I like the sharing your location and stuff. That appeals to the normies too. Like Shelton was talking earlier about, maybe this would have some normie appeal because I mean that's a common tool for parents and their kids now that are out and about and mobile, right?
I do think
I know my sister always tracked her kids that way.
I do think Sebastian Stan is like a little sloppy for somebody who's supposedly gotten away with this so much. Like he's not even trying when he's texting the friend back. Like he's literally half-ass texting her. And I feel like anybody could have anticipated this reverse Google image search situation.
Yeah.
It's either
Yeah,
like
it's
don't.
every
It's either
woman I know
He's
could
a
be a
little
private
overconfident.
detective.
it's
Like,
either like
but-
don't text at all to the back to the friend, or you got to bring your fucking A game, dude, and really try to convince her.
That
No,
did
no,
lead
so
to an. Go ahead, John.
Well, Eric, so like I have like if we want to pick some nits, that was one of mine. Was that like he for someone who's gotten away with it a lot, like there was whatever like 16 to 20 victims. It kind of looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I
kinda,
also
there's a
think
moment
sending
where
the personal effects is a very risky thing. Like,
well,
That's why
I
he makes
think
the
those were fake.
monies.
What do you
From what
mean?
it looked like, he was just like taking
Yeah.
panties. Like maybe they were panties that they had worn, but they
I
weren't like.
wonder.
oh, I didn't
I
catch
wondered
that.
that
Real
too because
personal
there was
effects.
too many for the girls he had in the basement, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, but yeah, like he had the
Well,
names
others
up and
have
like
been-
Because
yeah,
he had
been
that Dexter.
sold, eaten. Like it's
But
like,
he's making. But I guess the other point to make is
He
that
had
he's
that-
making multiple sales off of one girl.
Yes.
So
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's a good
correct.
point. That's a good point.
No,
And he had his own Dexter shrine. Maybe that was supposed to be revealing too, like that he actually has all this stuff.
yeah.
He-
Yeah, because like
other-
it's not really. He's not. That's one thing I found really interesting is he's not. He's not in it. He's not the cannibal really. He is a cannibal, but like
Well, he
he's not
is,
doing
yeah.
it. He's not doing it primarily for like. Well, we don't know what he's doing primarily for. He's in it for the money, like at least to a certain degree, because we do see all the scenes of him selling it to, and I really like all the different people you would see buying it because it was of course like the rich guys. You had like there was somebody you saw like an oxygen hose, so it was like probably somebody on their deathbed who like maybe like before I die, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
There was like one plate that had like a pentagram on it, so it's like maybe some kind of like rich like culty kind of thing.
Well,
Very
didn't
like,
No,
he
that
get
was
uh,
his logo.
Yeah,
yeah,
his-
Baphomet-esque.
Very
Oh, was
like
it?
Yeah,
very
his Baphomet,
hostile.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Very hostile vibes with the way that movie was about rich people like paying to torture people.
Yeah.
I
Schnars, what is it with
well-
rich people? Can you tell me? Why do they like? Why are they
no,
messed
I mean,
up?
I was gonna. That was another point I was gonna make. Was like, I guess the point and whatever. Like, we don't need to like overanalyze the business because like it's not real. But, like the
Is
whole
it?
as you point out, like everybody is like it's a very lucrative operation. But like, I don't know. Like, if there really are a bunch of cannibals out there, like, there's no reason to assume that it's like concentrated in rich people. Like,
That's yes.
that's a-
that's a really
Yes,
good.
it is.
That's
They have them.
They're the
no.
ones
That's
There's
a
a whole
very
spiel about like they have access to everything except for this one taboo.
Yeah, he said it was
You
the
know.
no, but
1%
there
of the 1%.
but
So
there are news stories sometimes though where they're like these two people met on a chat room and one of them wanted to eat people and the other one was like I kind of want to be eaten and guess what happened and like
Well,
they're
yeah,
never
of
rich
course,
people.
but like the business model here, like that's like a one-off personal connection. But like
The point
the
being-
business model is like he says the story is important to these people. They want
But,
the
like,
personal effects.
maybe
They want the
there's-
meat.
Maybe there's lots of cannibals, but what this movie is showing us is only the rich people have the funds
yes,
to get what they
that's-
need to get the good
Right,
stuff.
of course, yeah.
That I yeah.
The
No, the
the 99% cannibals are just left out in the dust.
I think
Yeah.
it's more just the ultimate taboo. It's just that the idea is that when you have so much money and you can buy anything, then eventually you get to the point where you're like, what else could I buy?
Well,
Yeah,
You know,
it's
yeah,
no
could
different
I
than
like
some-
pay somebody to?
It's
you
no
know,
different than the hunting the ultimate game, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
There's-
I was gonna say like it's a.
I think
this
it's
isn't what the
different.
movie.
Yeah, no,
this isn't the point the movie's trying to make, but it's an inequality.
I
metaphor,
think it's-
right. Like it's like
Yeah. I would
Mm.
argue
the
that
rich live off the poor.
my brain can make the leap much easier to rich people just want to know what it's like to murder somebody. Like that's like that kind of aggression. Like I get that darkness. To me, you want to eat people like just because you're rich. I don't know. Because Sebastian Stan clearly is like has some kind of mental condition that makes him want to eat people. He's not
well,
just
his personal story is that he got into it. He said when he was like 19. Like
Yeah.
he certainly didn't have like the money.
It's just
to
interesting.
fund-
But you are
yeah,
right.
he probably
That-
became a surgeon so that he could you know,
There is a.
the
I do think.
cannibalism came first.
I do think you're right, John. There's a very clear class metaphor there. I'm just now down a rabbit hole in my own head about actual cannibals. So
And again, that's also not really the point of the movie. It is
Exactly.
interesting because they show you a fair bit of those. I think what the point that the director, that Mimi Cave, is trying to land here is like, they're all men. Like, we don't see any women eating these women's bodies. We only see men. And
except for Noah.
I mean, well, yeah, fair. No, can I give you my other, like, somewhat, it's a smaller nit, but like, it's pretty important to the plot. So this is somewhat of a spoiler, but he removes her butt, right? Like,
He eats her ass.
Yeah.
yeah, like,
He says, I'm taking your ass when he's like carving into her.
if you're into her,
I
why
mean-
take her butt? That's one of the best parts. That's all I'm saying. Like, why would you do that? Like,
Apparently, it's one of the best parts to eat.
he liked her.
it's
called
the biggest
tenderness.
muscle, Eric. But like,
It's the
she was
biggest
able
muscle.
to walk, like, I don't know, kind
I
of
think you need
I
your-
was
normally and
wondering the
quickly.
same thing.
I think you
Yeah.
need your butt muscles just to be upright, don't you? Like,
She
they
did
do
manage to
everything.
limp a couple
Yeah,
times.
they're pretty important.
yeah.
But then she's like grooving at the.
Yeah, like she was dancing. I mean, like,
I mean, I'll buy it. Like, I'll suspend
Yeah.
disbelief and be like, oh, she's good. Like, I mean, they're literally like running away later, and Molly is supposed to have been. I mean, she has been prodded and cut
no,
into
well,
it.
it was. This is now you're getting to the grossest part of the movie in my
Okay.
mind.
Yeah.
That was her boob. Like, it was her breast. So like, my understanding of Molly is she had basically a mastectomy, but like otherwise, like, physically seemed to be okay. She
Well, and
swung.
then Penny, legless.
Oh well, yeah. Penny had been through it. Penny had.
That is
Melissa, she had
re-
really been through it. R.I.P.
the reveal with the
Yikes.
wife. The reveal with the wife is so good, but also just the reveal of what the movie was about. I mean, I could not have gone in knowing. I didn't know anything about this movie. I never took 2 seconds to contemplate the title. I'm just watching it. I'm like texting you guys about how
How hot Sebastian Stan
charismatic
is.
Sebastian Stan is. And then he hits her with the line, he drugs her, which that scene is brilliant. Like, her slow kind of like they're using this like filter on the lens so she's slowly going and he's just acting normal. And then she wakes up and he's talking to her for like a minute, like everything's normal. And then she realizes she's like in a weird room chained to the ground. And then he's like, I'm going to, what does he say? Like, I'm going to sell your meat. I'm going to sell your meat, he says, in like this.
That is how Eric texted it too, line by
That's
line.
exactly
by
how I
line.
texted it. That, my jaw hit the ground. I was like, it was like last week in Nightmare Alley when Mary Steenburgen like has her like big crazy scene there. Similar, just jaw on the ground. I was just like,
Yeah.
I literally lately am just a complete blank slate for movies that's incapable of seeing anything coming. And it was amazing. I love it.
That whole scene when he drugs her, I just thought was because I wasn't I was paying attention, but like I said earlier on, I wasn't really cottoning on to what we were getting into either. But then after he's made her that drink and started asking her, he's like, "Do you know what the secret ingredient is?" And she's like, "It's orange." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, that's got to be a drug," because all I could think of was like,
He says, I'm putting something special in your drink.
Yeah.
And then like
"Uh-oh."
one of the scarier
That's a
parts,
real
too,
bold move too, to just like assume she won't get weirded out by that.
Yeah.
Well, like she's when we see her start to get foggy and dizzy, and then she gets up and she falls. And one of my favorite moments is just Sebastian Stan's character, just like, I mean, he doesn't get up to help her because at that point we kind of know he's done something, but he's just leaned back, like watching her fall, and it's like, oh fuck, here we're in for it
well,
now.
that's the
Well,
title card, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the opening credits, like it's kind of interspersed with like you see like meat and stuff, and then you're seeing like her perspective as he's like dragging her. You just kind of see like a hallway light, like
Yeah.
as she's kind of dragged away. It's a really cool, like it's abstract opening credits, but also it's like, oh, that's what she's seeing right now.
But like you were saying, Caitlin, with the way he was watching her and the nonchalance there and whatnot, going back to John's nitpick about the text, I never had a problem with the text because he did seem like he was phoning it in, not even trying. But to me, I took it as more it was just because he was an elitist and he's like, who cares?
Mhm.
And they sold it when Molly showed up at his wife's house looking for him. Molly was the friend, correct? And
Mm-mm.
Molly
Yeah.
shows up to the friend, and he shows up, and he didn't freak out, nothing like you would think that somebody in this position would do. All he said was, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah, that part was like chilling. And then
It's
he's
like,
like,
oh
"Oh, it's
God.
you. Shouldn't have done that." And then
Well, it
the
was a
wife
great
like
reveal
whacks
too
her.
because you're still not sure if this is even the right person, and like
Yeah.
the husband comes home and it was like, oh, it's probably going to be a different guy or something, and then it's him, but he doesn't react, and he's just like, okay, cool, and the wife is like, okay, cool, and it's
The
weird
wife
situation.
does. That's a hard turn for her for sure.
Yeah.
Because at that point, because there is a shot of him with the wife, like that he's like. I thought it could be the brother because he was talking about his sister and her kid. Remember when he's on the dates, he
Oh,
keeps
Yeah.
yeah.
referencing his like sister and her kids. So I was like, oh, maybe this is the sister because there is that there's a picture of them that she finds on the internet. But then and then
It
it's like,
takes a lot
it
of
gets
balls for the
pretty-
friend character when he comes home in that scene to just be like, no, I mean, maybe your husband can answer my questions. I would be like, dude, I'd be running out the other door. Be like, I'm too
Yeah.
scared. Bye.
Well, and Molly's also a badass we've seen by the end of the
Yeah.
movie, so it's kind of surprised she didn't like. I know it was you.
Man, those like
Well, I mean,
fight.
it's,
Well, she
she's
didn't-
also
she
a
just
black
thinks he has
woman
a second
in a
family.
white neighborhood that's like, hey, are you like fucking a murderer? It's like because even when she knocks on the door, the wife is like, I don't want anything. Can you go away? It's like the dynamic there is already like, I don't know. It makes total sense
Yeah.
the way
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
done.
yeah.
no, totally.
Those fight scenes during the finale are so visceral and effective. Like literally looks like people fighting to the death.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
real intense.
I
There,
like it.
there's so much good around there. And we talked about with the reveal with Penny. I look like when that scene happened. I look like Leonardo DiCaprio from that meme from Once Upon a
Yeah.
Time in Hollywood. Oh, but the implications to that, I'd love to talk about that too, because I had the implication that because we were talking about it a little bit, but like I took it as he decided he liked Noah even better, and he was going to start grooming her to take over.
My
his
thought
wife
was
or something
like,
like that too, right?
I think the wife was getting jealous too because there's like
Yeah.
she looks at his phone and
Yeah.
she realizes that he's like gone more. Like she
Yeah.
calls him and he didn't pick up. Like it's kind of clear that he's into Noah and there's almost this
Well,
like jealousy affair
And
type
you
stuff.
don't know how far he plans to take it because he's being very
No.
cautious. He's being like cautious because she tries to escape at least once, and it's like every little bit that he gives her, you're shown a moment where he's just looking at her like
But he wants this to be a relationship.
he
and
will.
she
No, but what I'm
nurtures this
saying
idea
is
that there
yes,
can
but
be
like
a
Yeah.
he's
relationship.
also afraid, and she's trying to earn his trust, and she earns every ounce of it like through force of will of this act she's putting on because we see him his gears turning every time being like should I like just like show her that, and then we know he likes her so much because he keeps giving in and showing her more, but even then it's slow. It's like a slow
Well,
process.
so-
Like, I forgot
Yeah.
to put your cuffs back on.
Yeah, if
Like-
if I can play out the metaphor, right? So like, and it kind of gets back to Caitlin referencing the line about the wife, being part of the problem. Like, he trusts her because she eats the meat, right? Like, so she's like
yeah.
basic.
Yeah.
Like, if the cannibalism is like the patriarchy or sort of like toxic masculinity or whatever you want to, like the just all the bad parts of our society. She like takes it willingly, and so he's like, oh, cool, like she's part, she's
She's
part
cool.
of the program now.
Ah, that's super.
She's,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
a cool
Cool
girl. Like
girl.
I
I'm not
like
gonna,
that.
yeah,
That's-
exactly. Like I'm not
that's-
gonna dismember her
Well, and
right
then
now.
it seals the deal when she's when he realizes that she's not handcuffed and she could have tried something
Yeah.
at any point in the evening and she hadn't. So that's when he's like, oh, okay, well maybe
All
we can do
right.
this.
I like that a
And
lot.
that is the
And,
point when I texted Eric, like the Eric, Casey, and John, men are so fucking stupid because I was like, you fucking idiot. Like, you stupid idiot.
Well, I
Like,
knew where it was going as soon
Yeah.
as they like.
Well,
I
of
was just like,
course,
"Ugh,
yeah.
fuck."
Yeah.
it's like he's so smart and so slick and so like professional throughout, and you just like he lets this sort of like dumb romanticism of like, oh, she's interested in my work, like she's gonna try it, she's game, and it's like you fucking
You
idiot.
like that
She
meatball.
fleeced you good.
I love his performance in this movie.
Him when he's like, you fucking
Yeah, when he snaps,
off.
and he starts just being a child basically, and like like snapping at them. It's good.
He's unhinged. It's so good.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything else about the movie they wanted to bring up?
I wanted to hit like so the very first scene we talked about. Caitlin was talking about it when you were kind of hitting your review, but it's like one of the first lines of the movie I thought just set the tone so perfectly when the guy Chad she's on the date with says, I wish I could remember it, but he says something effective like, I kind of love how like women nowadays don't feel like they need to get dressed up for a date or something along.
Yeah.
Like,
Like women in
just
our
like-
parents' generation just like cared more, but
yeah, they just like tried.
Like you look
about-
really good in
yeah.
a dress, you know.
You're just not as feminine anymore.
Well, it's the way that first line. I was like, oh my god, like
The
this.
fact that he's
this
named
movie's-
Chad too, like
Well,
he's a
she's
Chad,
like-
you know,
she's like-
and
he's a
everything
Chad.
about that, I was
Mhm.
like, because like he comes off and he's like in this like hipster scarf and he's like, yeah, I'm taking this cool Chinese place and like we'll split it. And it's like, okay, cool, and, and then he's just like all the
cash,
worst
right?
things, like
Yeah.
all the worst, like.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
like, are you
mean-
gonna talk about crypto next? Okay, you're gonna tell me like you're gonna talk down to me next. Like,
I loved my brother's coming, so I'm just gonna take these leftovers with me.
Yeah.
wow, God. You're not even that hot. I was just being nice. Like that whole thing felt too. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
baby
That
girl
guy was a
doesn't
bit of a. That guy was speaking of promising young woman. He was a bit of a Bo Burnham moment for me because
Yeah.
he was in the spin-off of the Goldbergs called Schooled, and he played kind of like a super dorky kind of granola teacher that was in love with the main character gal. So it was a totally different angle coming out of him too. So it
I
was
sort
kinda
of
fun
got
to see.
actually had a Bo Burnham vibe too from the friend who pieces out at the end, who like shows up and you think is gonna save
Yeah.
the day, and then is like, later, bitches. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, the only thing we didn't talk about, John, did you want to talk more about the food stuff? The cooking stuff, but
Which one, me or other?
oh,
Jen?
excuse me, Schnarz, because you said I
Well,
don't
the
know.
grossest one is the breast meat.
Okay,
That's by far.
Just the way it looked. Yeah,
It's the one that looks like anatomy, right? Whereas like the
Yeah.
rest of it was like prepared.
dude, that
as-
first leg thing,
Yeah.
I wanna know how they did that because it is unreal looking. That like leg with the meat inside of it. Ugh.
You mean the one that he cuts the like little when he
Yeah,
goes
the
for his
bruschetta.
run and he comes back?
No,
from
because
the-
that doesn't really
the
look like a
prosciutto?
leg. The first thing you see is
He
he
has, like,
picks up
a
a leg
leg.
with skin on it, and like, but then he's cutting it, and it's like it's got like
Oh, yeah.
meat inside. Like, ugh,
When he's that's the one he's like prepping for shipping.
I can't deal.
Yeah.
I've never seen Eric look like he's
I
full
hate it.
body
I hate it so much.
Oh, and the implications of just that freezer because there was so much meat in there. So he's obviously been doing this a lot.
Yeah.
when they're like, LOL, her name was Joy. So ironic. I was like, oh man,
It's
she's
a really
gonna get him so
that's the
good.
thing is it's a very funny movie, and that scene it's like she's forcing humor to try to disarm him, and it's like it is funny, but it's so grim and like
It's so
Yeah.
dark.
so off color. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When they
Or
show
like
that
there was one named
Melissa-
Hope, and he's like, "Oh, there's still hope. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's like, oh god.
Or there's still some hope or something like
There's still some hope."
yeah. Gross.
I can't believe she took a bite. That was what blew my mind too.
She
That was-
got it done. She
Yeah,
knew
she
what she
did.
had to do.
It's like, oh my god.
And
It's
it
a-
was Melissa, the one that they like she had heard like kind of losing
Yeah, yeah.
losing touch there at the end.
It's so
And
like
like she takes the bite and that's really hard. She doesn't know it's Molly with
My
the breast,
react-
but she-
like my reaction to it is super interesting to me too because like Caitlin, I think you were talking about it, that being a sort of universal taboo, like, and it is for good reasons. But it's like I had such a visceral reaction to this movie, like not just a person watching a gross movie, like it made me shudder like constantly, like, and I didn't realize that. I don't know, I was that impacted by that. I've seen cannibal movies before, but it's something about the like insanely realistic way they depict the meat that I just found horrifying.
Yeah.
And I think
His
it's the
meatball
chewing
looked
sounds.
a little undercooked too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little red.
The chewing sounds too, as were mentioned earlier.
I didn't even register that. And usually I don't like mouth sounds, but
Oh.
I think I was just so engrossed in the movie that I was like,
Well, when
Ah,
he
yes,
when
these
he takes his
gross
There's
little
so much other stuff.
when he takes his little piece of prosciutto or whatever, he's like, it's like close up, and you like see him put it on his tongue, and it's like, oh, you're ruining prosciutto now for me too. Fuck you.
Do you eat a lot of prosciutto after running, John?
It's good. It's actually good because it's salt.
Electrolytes?
It's salty. Yeah. I mean, I'm not against it, but
can we
it's
get a
little
cosplay
expensive.
moment of like you coming to your fridge after a run.
At least they didn't
Yeah, I
ruin
can
smoked
probably work that
salmon
out.
for me, John. At least
Yeah,
I still
no.
have that. All right, y'all. Would you recommend this movie, John Shelton,
Oh, of course, yeah.
Casey,
Absolutely.
Caitlin,
Big time.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Cool. Can you text your brother Sebastian Stan and see if he recommends it? All right, y'all. It's gonna do it for that movie, Fresh, and let's take a quick break, and we'll see you on the other side.
Discover the #1 movie everyone is talking about, The Good Son, a frightening portrait of evil. Macaulay Culkin plays the bad seed to perfection.
What makes people evil?
I don't believe in evil.
You should.
A chilling roller coaster of terror. Loaded with tension and suspense. With a heart-pounding edge-of-your-seat climax. A great thriller.
If I let you go, you think you could fly?
The Good Son, rated R. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Hello, I'm Nell Campbell from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you're listening to Bloody Good Horror.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. Info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Speaking of bloodygoodhorror.com, John Shelton, been lots of new stuff happening over there. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, no, we've been doing all kinds of stuff. We've got a bunch of new writers on the site. We've been putting out a lot of new content lately. We got a lot of we got reviews, we've got interviews, we've got video game coverage. We did some lists. So all kinds of cool stuff there on the website. Go check that out. We've got South by Southwest coverage starting up later this week. We're gonna have reviews of a lot of movies there. So that's pretty exciting. And then at the end of the month, there's a found footage festival in San Francisco called the Unnamed Footage Festival, and we've got somebody who's gonna go there and do some coverage of that. So
awesome. And we've
lots
had a
of
couple
cool stuff going on.
We've had a couple interviews too lately, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got some interviews. Caitlin did one. You can listen to that on her podcast. We've got it on the site as well. Yeah, and we're trying to do a lot more of that stuff, and got a lot of exciting things coming up down the pike.
Love it. bloodygoodhorror.com. And a bunch of those new writers on the site are from Slack. They are BGH fans and patrons who joined the community, kind of got to know us, and now are writing for the site. So it's a good chance to promote patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. You can get a live stream of the show. You can get back episodes. We have turned or just refreshed the Patreon podcast feed. So every Monday now, you're going to get, so at some levels, you'll get a Google Drive with every BGH episode. But any patron at any level will get the Patreon Classics feed, which is like a curated weekly feed that gets released on Mondays. And I've been matching up episodes to like the same time of year that week is, as close as I can get it. So so last week we released the Peanut Butter Solution. That's episode 368, originally aired March 2016. John, you remember 2016?
I do.
It was pre-Trump, though. We didn't know yet. We were just babes in the woods. But so that was a good one. Longtime fans remember the Peanut Butter Solution. Just yesterday, we released Assassination Nation. John, what year would you guess that movie came out?
I think I know the answer. Assassination Nation was I'll say 18, but it's older than that.
2019.
Newer. Wow.
Episode
Okay.
513. Yeah, every once in a while we go all the way back to the olden times. And then we also started doing another thing this week, John. Anybody at any level of Patreon is going to get early access to the main show by subscribing to that feed. So I usually cut that show Thursday evening, sometimes earlier. As soon as it's done, it's going right into that Patreon feed. You don't have to wait until Friday mornings, John, to get your BGH fix. So all that, in addition to the live stream where you can see Schnorz's flax and locks, you can get that at patreon.com/bloodygood.
Have you ever wondered what Sebastian Stan looked like with long hair? You know.
Yeah.
He had some
There we
like
are.
decent waves. I mean, I guess it wasn't like long, but he had like a nice. It looked
Yeah. No.
it's
Sure.
Another cool thing, John, we're doing for patrons this year. Overall, we're working on, hopefully the goal is 3 new t-shirt designs in 2022. I've touched base and lined up an artist for the first one. The first design is going to be a Patreon exclusive. Patrons at the highest level, I believe that's the Candyman level, will get the shirt for free. And then anyone else will get a crack at buying one who's on Patreon, and it won't be available to anyone else. I've hooked up with some artists out of Massachusetts, John, that we'll be talking about pretty soon here once we get
Your
going.
old brethren.
That's right. Some fellow massholes that are going to do some cool art for the website. So we're going to start promoting that here soon. And we're hoping that'll ship in Q1, John. Well, Q1 is almost over, right? Let's say Q2.
You're
What-
learning your cues. I like it.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that
this
accurate?
good.
We're almost in
You're
Q2.
all over your cues. Yeah.
get the peas.
That's
and you'll
still
be
pretty
there.
quick. I'm just gonna tell you the production timelines these days, they're not great.
Well,
The old supply chain there is.
we're gonna make it.
Chain's a little jacked up.
We're gonna make it happen. And then the second shirt of the year is gonna be from our boy Casey, and some of his drawings that he's been doing. And then TBD for shirt number 3, John. But I got some ideas cooking up, so lots to look forward to this year at Bloody Good Horror. And we're gonna be continuing to expand and upgrade on those Patreon offerings. So check us out, patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
Look at that energy. That's New York era
Boom.
energy right there.
That's right.
I know.
That's what it's all about. You know.
Hey,
Real
New York
podcast
Eric.
is here.
The capital region to you, John.
Mhm.
Before we move to tweets, Eric, did you want to update your list?
Please.
You only have 2 on here so far.
Oh, this is
I thought
number.
you added the third one.
This
didn't
is
you?
number 1. Is this a 2022?
This is
Oh, yeah,
2022.
this is absolutely.
Yeah, we
number
said
1.
Nightmare Alley wasn't because it got a wide release
Okay.
last year. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this
so Scream is your number 1 now. Where do you want Scream to
is,
go
this is,
after?
this is better.
Since this
That
will
can go to 2. This is better than Scream. Like by a sub.
Get right out of here.
Got him. Thank you.
Caitlin.
Shelton, did you see Scream?
I've not seen it yet. No,
Okay. All right. I won't put you on the spot then.
As we're,
You're off the spot.
I'll give you my opinion of it. Though.
Give an uninformed opinion on air right now.
Well, I was really like, I guessed who the killer was. Obvious. I thought it was pretty obvious. I'm really surprised at the thing they did with Nev Campbell, but also like I think it's time, and Gale and Dewey forever.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think those kids
Nailed
are
it.
gonna make it work
God,
out.
he didn't even need to see the movie.
Like it's me.
Don't feed into Schnarz's Scream apathy.
It's more like me and gruff wife beater Dewey forever. Caitlin, before we move on here, what's going on with BGH Presents? Plug it up with Caitlin from Richmond.
It's going great. Things have been rocking and rolling. Added some final girls to our lineup. Added some women who are themselves horrific to the lineup. We released We Summon the Darkness this week, which was a fun one, looking at the Satanic Panic and sort of the irony within that movie. It's a fun one. Got some new ones on the horizon. Gonna do our buddy Thor from Thor's Hour of Thunder. He's a slacker. Gonna come on for Byzantium. Gonna have Natalie from that To All the Men I've Tolerated podcast come on for The Wind. Gonna have Elizabeth come on for Black Swan. So got
Ooh.
some good ones in the
Yeah,
works.
when she was here recently, we watched Black Swan. Man, I hadn't seen that movie since we did it on the show. Yo, Black Swan is a good movie. Did you guys know
So
that?
good.
Holy
So good.
moly!
Yeah,
It's real good.
earns its due.
That
So,
Aronofsky.
I think Byzantium's a great movie. That's like a deep cut,
I think
like
it was
underrated.
so good. I hadn't seen
Yeah.
it, and I'm like, it's like a new favorite. I really like it.
Yeah, we did it years ago.
Yeah, that's another one, Eric. What year do you think that began? I
That
would
was,
guess
you know what I learned on
2009.
that show, John? That GEMMA is pronounced Gemma and not Gemma, which is what I thought it was.
Yeah. Gemma.
What?
What
Gemma
is
does not
Gemma?
make sense. That's what J's are for. You dummy.
Yeah.
I still don't get it. I just
She's
know it.
great. That movie's awesome.
It's
That's
gorgeous,
isn't-
yeah.
Wow. What the other woman whose name on this?
Saoirse Ronan?
Yeah, Saoirse. Yeah.
I don't
That
remember.
was like before
2012.
she was
Honestly,
a person.
2012. I don't
Before she was
remember.
a person.
Yeah, no one knew. that she was a-
Preconception.
they thought she was just a mannequin that could act.
Honestly, I remember jack shit. I remember jack shit about that movie. So, but I do remember that it was decent. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Check that out. Search Plug It Up on socials and in your podcast feed, and get that. All right, Casey, it is time. What's doing on the old social meteors?
All righty. We are on Twitter. You can reach out to us at BG Horror if you don't follow us already. Ask us a question. Use the Ask BGH hashtag before we record. We got one question this week. This is a hard-hitting, horror-centric question. Not really. From our good buddy Skizbot. Do you only type one space after a period ending a sentence, or do you do it the wrong way?
I do too.
I thank God that Skizbot's on the right side of history on this one. Like, there is one correct answer here.
I'll be honest. I
Yeah.
mostly did it because. Well, I don't know. I would hit spacebar twice because on a computer, then it just gives you the period. But maybe that's only giving me one space though.
It should only be
Yeah.
one space.
Yeah.
This is like one of those things where it's like when you were in 5th grade and they wanted you to write a 3-page paper and you were like, oh God, I got 2 pages and 3/4. Like, I better add a space after every
And you make the
sentence.
period
Also,
size
triple
14.
spacing.
Yeah.
I say let
Well, it's
people.
an age thing too. Like that's how on a typewriter you were supposed to put 2 spaces.
Yeah.
And
Well,
when I
and I
took like
think- yeah.
typing class in high school, that's how I learned to do it. So I struggle with not doing that.
Yeah.
I
I'm a
was
Every day.
singer.
similarly, I was taught that, I think, in typing class in 7th grade. But then when I worked at the newspaper in college, it was like that, they were
Yeah,
like,
When
don't
I
I
do
went
it.
to
use
Duke.
if I'm on my own accord and
I-
it's not for work, I will use 2 spaces, and I will not apologize for it, John. So you can get the hell out.
I'm on Team Skylar for this one. Just
do what I
the
want.
single space.
Let people use whatever spaces they want, John. Let them be themselves.
No. It's like, I see things like that and I'm like,
Oh, I'm gonna start.
What's the old APA say?
I'm gonna
Shelton,
start-
You control the old blogs on there.
I'm gonna
What
start
do you
texting
say
you,
for
John.
bloodygoodhorror.com?
Yeah, we strictly use Chicago style.
there you go.
That's
dish.
relish, right? Yeah, relish and
Detroit cut it
chili.
in squares. It's just what it is.
John, I'm gonna start texting you and just putting 7 spaces after periods.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Expect that kind of behavior.
All right, that's it for Twitter.
Yeah, a little late tonight. I don't know what's going on. We got a few things on was the old Instagram, although one of them is a real question. What? Oh, okay. Actually, email first. Patrick from Dallas, Texas. What was the first concert you went to? No one's going to be Patrick's answer, which was Donna Summer 1978 Summer's Back Tour.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
can't beat that.
Amazing. John,
I can bet.
was-
I can come close. Sorry, Kate. Go ahead. didn't
No,
mean to
I
cut
want
you off.
Casey. What was yours?
Mine was Steve Miller Band in '88.
88.
Nice.
Wow, I was 6.
I think I was middle school or 8th grade.
I don't know what year it was, but mine was in Virginia Beach for Hanson.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Shelton, what you got?
I went to see 10,000 Maniacs. Would have been like 91, 92.
Dude, you are
And
such
it was
a
a real struggle too, because I had to talk my parents into it, and they thought it was like some hardcore like punk metal band. And I'm like, no, this
Dude,
is
this
like
was
real
like
wussy music.
it's like we're playing Tell Me You're a Gen Xer without telling me you're a Gen Xer.
I think mine was Dave Matthews Band.
Nice.
I assume we're talking like concert without your parents, or like
Yeah,
you
like
know,
yeah.
the one
mean,
that you
my
were
mom
at,
came
like,
to Hanson with me and my best friend, but
yeah.
I honestly have not
Cool.
attended like a ton of concerts at like overall in my life. My first was 1998, I want to say, and it was Beck and Ben Folds 5.
oh
at the-
hell
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
It was a
That's
it was a
sweet. Like, I would
vibe.
still
Yeah,
see that.
at
Yeah, I would see that show.
at Saratoga Performing Arts Center, John. That's like an outdoor venue where famously
Yeah.
Dave Matthews plays every year, and it's always like a big sellout.
I'm
Do you guys know
familiar
where
with
Dave Matthews is from?
Richmond, Virginia.
Well, he's from Charlottesville, which is garbage town, but he's from Virginia. So.
Remember when he got in trouble for their tour bus like dumped a bunch of poop on people or something like that, or like
Eric, my ex-boyfriend's dad was in DMB, and I don't
you
I
told
don't
me
know.
that.
Yeah, I haven't talked about it in a while, but I always felt like I was undeserving of that connection because I like don't know anything about Dave Matthews Band, and I was always like, "How nice."
I'm
Thank
not a
you.
super fan, but
You're right, though, Eric.
honestly, I was of that age to have like had it hit me at a certain like I definitely there's a couple of those albums that I spun a decent amount.
Didn't they accidentally dump their septic tank on their bus of going
Yeah,
through
yeah.
over
That's what
the canal
He
in
wasn't
Chicago?
on the bus. It was like it wasn't their decision, but yeah. I'm hearing behind the
I heard that Dave Matthews sat in his
Defending
throne.
DMB.
I heard that Dave Matthews himself sat on his throne with a scepter and said, "Dump the poop,
scenes, said, "Fuck these plebes."
cover the peasants." Exactly. That's a great question. Thank you for that, Patrick. Next up, we move to Instagram. I think this is Caitlin's friend. He says, "What are the best ways to support you all?" The best way always is Patreon, because aside from the small cut that Patreon takes, that stuff goes directly to us and helps us sustain the site and also improve things on the show and the site. And you get stuff in return. Like you could always
and
I was
buy.
gonna say you could just tell friends about the awesome show
Well,
that you
that
love,
he
and
was so I didn't read
that's
the I didn't read the rest of his question, but he was specifically asking about like if he was going to send money somewhere, where would it be?
Like t-shirts.
like
or-
You could
t-shirts.
just send me money to my
You could
apartment.
just
Don't
send
send
it.
Schnars money.
But
No, Nick is an amazing hype man, and he was on this week's Plug It Up. So I do want to give major love to Nick. He's been a huge supporter of all things BGH
I love
lately,
it.
and I
Yeah.
appreciate him hyping us up and trying to support us in the
He's,
best possible
he's
avenues.
supporting us by supporting you and Plug It Up. That's what I was
the
saying.
t-shirt stuff
Yeah.
I love having t-shirts. I love that people buy them. Anybody who's ever sold t-shirts knows the margin on them is like non-existent. It's like I'm not sure
Yeah.
we've ever gotten like a royalty check from t-shirts before. Maybe, I don't know, John. You tell.
No,
You're the money guy,
It
Schnars.
does produce. It produces a little bit. Like
Yeah.
it's not nothing. Yeah. Like,
but
yeah.
but you know, if you're really like if the goal is to support us, it's definitely Patreon. Would you rather be so fresh or so clean? That album is like one of my favorites of all time. That
I mean, the line is fresh and so clean. So I
why
mean, like,
choose?
it's not an either or.
I don't think you can be one or the other. You have to be both. I feel like.
What? No,
I
options
sort of
for
assumed you
stinky?
had to be clean to be fresh, but maybe I just don't.
But you
know.
can be like fresh in your style, but maybe not like
Oh.
you can have drip,
Mm.
as the kids say, but not be.
I would rather be
drip.
clean then.
Yeah, sorry, Caitlin. Colleen says I am not capable of being fresh in my style.
But you have that cool shirt that she just got you.
I don't know that I can call Killer Clowns fresh though.
In this community of
That's
black
true.
t-shirt people, yes, it is.
If you could have any hairstyle, what would it be?
I've always wanted to pull off space buns well,
Mm,
and
you have a lot of hair.
I feel like I do have a lot of hair, but like I don't know, for whatever reason, like I want big space buns, like really big
You
ones.
gotta, I always assumed that those were like padded, like there was like
That it
shit
was,
in
like,
there. It was like a
earmuffs?
weave.
Oftentimes
Yeah.
they are. Yeah.
It's a bump it.
This question
Yeah.
becomes
It's certainly not a bump it, Casey.
I don't know
Thi-
what a bump.
This question becomes weirdly wistful for people like Shelton and I. John, what's your what hairstyle would you most want?
Yeah, I kind of feel attacked. Yeah, as a bald American.
Bald American.
Honestly, like when I had hair, my hair sucked. Like I had very like fine, thin hair, and so like it just kind of hung straight down. I couldn't do anything with it. So like it wasn't a huge loss when I started just shaving my head. But yeah, something with a little texture would have been nice. I've got very lank, straight,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
thin hair.
I'm not gonna lie. My hair was beautiful. Like it would rival Schnarz's now. People would touch my hair and be like, "Oh my god, it's so soft," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know it is. Enjoy." And I used to have hair almost as long as your Schnarz. Close, not quite that long. I don't think it ever hit my shoulders, but it was pretty close. I would just love enough hair to have just a nice little high and tight these days, John. I think that's probably what I would go with.
Yeah, like a comb over situation. You're working up to a comb over.
That's a great question, and that was the last question. Sorry, Schnarz.
God,
man, this was a fun little surprise out of left field banger. I feel like I officially feel like the year of 2022 horror has started now because I've seen this, and that's pretty exciting. It's always good. Like the first couple of months are always like, what are we doing here? Just like watching old movies and junk. So
well, and we've rolled the dice on some of these. Like, I saw something popped up on Hulu, and then it's like, what the fuck are we thinking? And this one worked out, so I'm really excited.
Love it. We're not sure what we're doing next week, but as always, we tend to post that stuff on Patreon. There's a Big Show channel, which is about this here podcast. And social media. Caitlin is very good about posting it on the BGH Twitter once we know what we're doing. So stay tuned.
Love a GIF. Love a Twitter GIF. Love a poll. Got to run some more polls on the Twitter.
Polls are good. Polls are good.
I have problems with that GIF you posted for this week, Caitlin.
Wait, I posted two. Which one? The one the close up?
The dance GIF.
Oh.
It was hypnotic.
Yeah.
That was the problem. I kept staring at it after a while.
Mr. John Shelton, thank you for joining us this week.
Hey, always a pleasure.
And congratulations on your promotion from homeless
Ascension,
professor
I would say.
Ascension. I like it.
Ascension.
But yeah, we're very excited about the stuff going on the website and all the new people writing. It's all good stuff. So check out bloodygoodhorror.com. That's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed our episode this week on Fresh, and we will see you next week.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.